Hello and welcome. We will be going over the workings of the control box for the crystal lights, the power supply, the connectors like this one, that one, and a few others, how to insert the rubber pieces into the crystal holders, how to attach the base of the tripod, and finally the workings on the light bar. So with the power supply, we have a little blue LED that glows when it's powered up, so you'll know if that isn't on, then you're not going to be able to turn on the control box. Here's the connector for it, and it's flat on one side and rounded on the others. When you plug it in, it's going to go click to lock. When you pull it out, you're just going to pull from this plastic piece, and it's going to release a safety mechanism allowing it to come out. Goes into the side here, and it only goes in one way. The flat side facing up, and you see it's locked in place. Pull back, wiggle, 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 and it comes out. So again, flat side up, and plug it in. The next plug is up top, and that is for the light system. This one has the wire coming out away from the box, so as you put it in, it looks like that. To remove it, press in, wiggle up, and it comes out. You have a regular 3.5 millimeter insert that you would find on a music player or maybe headphones. And that plugs all the way in. So if you have additional frequencies, you can plug in a music player and send those into the coils on the light bar. This is for charging a phone or a music player. It's a standard USB connector. And this is the brightness for the red lights that we'll show you in a little bit. So let's plug everything in and get this going. So first off, we have the power button on the top left. And you'll know it's turned on because this powers up. This is the frequency generator, which sends electricity into the PEMF coils that are buried inside of the holders. Let's turn on the lights. This is the lights button. And so the lights, we'll go over those in a minute, but they are controlled through these 4 red buttons. Next up is the deep red, which is controlled through this dial. It is almost far infrared. I think it's 740 nanometers for the wavelength. And let's turn the lights back on. And we're going to zoom this out so we can see the full range of lights. We have 14 different programs which are available for you to download as a cheat sheet on the website. First button is set. That's basically a memory. Second button is mode, so it basically will cycle through the different color schemes. Third is fast. Fourth is slow. Fast and slow are useful if you have one of the programs that pulsates the lights, and there's about 4 of them that do that. The rest of them are solid state. So let's go ahead and push the first one, mode. So we went from pure white to the first chakra setup, where we have the root chakra on the right, and then it goes all up to the crown. The next one keeps that going, but we now introduce a pulsation of white, which is good for cleansing. And you can adjust the speed on that to make it faster or slower. There's no real benefit one way or the other on the speed. It's just your own personal preference. So now we reversed it. The root used to be over here. It's now over here, which it goes through the cycle. And guess what? The next one is going to be the pulsation of the white to the chakra. The next runner-up is a gentle changing of all the different color schemes. And we just use this to up-level someone's aura. And really, when you're going through these, just tune in and see which one feels best for you and go with that. The next one is going to break down the color schemes so they change within each one of these. And then they slowly diffuse out like a rainbow. And now this one is purple and blue, which is great for skin. These are also pulsating, so you can change their speed. Here's all red, and then yellow, or rather orange, and then yellowish green, and then green, light blue, dark blue, purple, and then white again. And we are going to turn those off and then go into the frequency generator. So we're going to zoom this in. So you have the ability to change the frequencies up and down through here. And on this side is the duty cycle. Duty cycle simply means that the waveform, which is a square wave for this, at 50% is going to be 50% up and 50% down. If I was to change this to 100%, that would be a pure tone. It would be straight across at 100% of 528 hertz. And then when we go down to 0, it shuts off the waveform. There is no waveform going to the crystals. We typically keep it between 40 to 60%. You can run it at a full pure sine wave if you want, but or rather square wave if you want, but we prefer to do one that goes up and down. And to change the frequencies, if you press and hold, it goes really fast. And it starts at 1 hertz and goes on up to 3 kilohertz, I believe. It's in the owner's manual, but you can see it just switched over to kilohertz. Let's see how far it goes up. I'm curious now. (150 kilohertz). So 1 hertz to 150 kilohertz. More than enough frequencies to keep you occupied. We primarily stay in the hertz region, and there will be a download sheet that gives you various different frequencies. Use them at your discretion. We tend to err on the side of safe protocols, so solfeggio tones, chakra frequencies, things like that where it's a known beneficial frequency for the body. We're not trying to get rid of cancer or anything with this particular model. We are more interested in allowing the body to boost its own natural healing potential by using beneficial frequencies. All right, so now we're going to go over the mounting of the tripod. The control box has a shoe for the tripod. This is a shoe mounted onto the bottom. There's also little rubber feet, so it keeps it stable as it's sitting on the table. But we're going to set this aside. And this is the head to the tripods, and this is the shoe. So it essentially slides in place. This part clicks and moves out of the way temporarily, so this gets by, and then snaps in place. It is now locked in position and will not come out on its own until this part is pressed in. And that's good to know as you try to release this off of the unit. So it just slides right out. See little locking pieces right here for that. This other side has a screw. So as I screw it, this piece right here is going to force itself out. You can see a little silver piece right there. As it does, it clamps down and grabs this really hard. So it just goes and locks in place. If you are trying to put this on and it's just jamming against it, you need to back this screw off a little bit until it goes on. Once you hear the click, you can then go ahead and tighten. So this is tightened, and now this shoe is locked in place. The important thing to know is with these levers is that you can pull the lever out. You see how the lever is pulling out? So when I pull it out, it spins freely back and forth. It does not tighten or loosen. And so that's important, as we show you in a minute. So let's mount this on. Now the problem with this, let's get this closer. Problem with this is we now are banging into here and we can't make it tighter. So that's why we pull this out, turn it, and do that. Now that took a little bit of dexterity for me, because as I pulled this out, I put my finger behind it and I was holding on to the bolt. Sorry, that's really bad to see. So as I pulled this out, my finger So as I pulled this out, my finger is pushing against the metal part right in there, which is the bolt. If this is super loose and you go and pull this out to turn it, that bolt may turn with it. So it takes a little bit of finagling. Now, thankfully, what we do is get this in a really good position when it gets sent to you. So all you usually have to do is just slide on the control box and then tighten this a half turn and it's perfect. If it's not, that's where you have to do a little bit of finagling on your own and move the lever like that. So just undoing it by a half is enough to get it off. So inserting these rubber rings, they go into a lip at the topmost portion of the holder. Now, which side of the holder has the lip? Well, if you see a little light, you know it's the other side. You're going to see a copper ring going all the way around, and that's the side you want. So this rubber ring is going to lightly press fit itself in, and you can see that it's almost flush. And you know it's good if you do a light. If you do it hard, it's going to pop out. But if you do it light, it's going to stay in place. So what happens is, as you push the crystal in, it expands slightly, making this rubber ring push harder against here and locking it in place. Hello and welcome. I have the light bar in my hands. You can see the arms come out towards me, and these arms are going to sit inside the two holders. There's various ways to put this on. Probably the easiest way is to keep the Velcro straps on the arms themselves when you go and do this. And you just put them in for halfway down. The bar itself is going to rub against here. Unscrew these butterfly knobs a little bit, loosen it up, allows movement of the arm. We can then get it out of the way, set the arms, make sure they're all the way down. At this point you can plug in your light bar. And now we're ready for some movement. The light bar can go left and right. It can go diagonal. It can go up. It can go out. And each one of these has its own flexible movement. The ones on the ends are one segment longer, so you can get them into a position like this while still having the main chakra ones straight, so they are in line with the other ones. That's why they're one segment longer. And that's it.